All right. Hello and welcome to some sample combat for the Fallout campaign. So I've created a little scenario here. I have Lunk standing in as our hero in this case here. But I basically just wanted to show off a little bit about how, basic weapons will work. So in this video, we'll be showing off the mechanics for pistols, submachine guns, auto rifles. Heavy weapons fall into this category as well, as do most energy weapons. There are other weapon types, namely shotguns, precision or sniper rifles, and explosives that behave differently. We'll be looking at each of those in their own chapter. However, in this case, this will be, the tutorial for how most firearms will work. So I have a sample character loaded up to level 5 with where their stats, would be at that point. A couple perks, namely a perk that increases damage to raiders, which is going to become very helpful in this combat encounter we have against some raiders. So I've set up a scenario here. Lunk traveling along the highway at night and finds while hiding behind a truck for some cover, overhears a situation here where a wasteland settler who is friendly is being taken, held hostage by these three raiders here. And Lunk wishes to save the day. So in this case, Lunk is, hidden. The enemies are not aware of his presence yet, and Lunk is looking to save this Wastelander, maybe for a caps reward, maybe for some information for a quest, who knows. But nonetheless, we are looking at, three raiders in an area of the map where low-level encounters will happen. So these raiders will likely be sub-level 5, and we have Lunk set up as level 5. So let's just take a look at Lunk's equipment here as we prepare for battle. So looking at the character sheet we have set up for Lunk, we just gave him 4 special across the board. In the base stats, I didn't equip an armor, but let's just go ahead and do that real quick. Let's give Lunk this Merc. We'll give him the Merc Grunt outfit, +5 guns. We'll bring this over. That will give Lunk an additional damage threshold of 3. Great. Excellent. And then the gun stat jumped up some. Excellent. All right, so we'll just take a quick look at the stats. So I've already rolled Lunk into initiative. In this case, Lunk has the highest initiative, so we'll be using that for our reference here. But looking here, we have Lunk equipped in this armor. We have Lunk equipped with a service rifle, just a basic semi-automatic rifle, and a 9mm pistol, standard sidearm there. And looking at our stats here, Lunk is starting the fight with 77 out of 77 health. He has a damage threshold or damage reduction of 7 and 80 action points to begin. And then his primary ammo count, he has 20 bullets in the magazine of his primary weapon and then 15 in the secondary. Lunk also has 2 stim packs equipped. He is outnumbered. He'll probably take some damage, so it would be worth having those on hand. And let's see here. Terrific. Okay, so we can take a look at combat here. So Lunk is, looking at the sheet here. So Lunk is at a good amount of range to his enemies here. Probably want to take a shot at enemy 3 here. So we'll take a look and we'll get a range idea for each of these targets here. Let's just recreate that. Oops. Great. So looking at Lunk, Lunk is 49.5 feet from enemy 3, 47 from 2, 57 from 1. So maybe it would be better to take a shot at 2 first, slightly closer. So with that information, we can kind of clear these out for the time being. But we can come to our table here, and we know that enemy 2 is 47 units away. So our table will do the math for us. So we are attacking enemy 2. So we will input that here. And then we would need to roll a 36 to hit. And once again, with the rolls that we'll be doing, the dice in question will be your percentile dice, and then your D10. So you'll roll the 10, 20, 30, 40 dice to indicate the 10's place, and then your D10 to indicate the 1's place. So right now, effectively, Lunk has a 64% chance to land a hit on the target because Lunk only needs to roll a 36 or better to hit target 2. So looking here, we can see that the weapon in Lunk's hands does 14 damage to start. And then Lunk, however, did take the perk that boosts damage for against raiders, and we are fighting raiders. So in this case, the standard damage that the auto rifle will be doing here, or the service rifle, pardon me, that's the weapon we have equipped. We'll be doing 18 damage per shot on a regular hit. However, we're about to be attacking from a sneak position, so if we land a shot, we'll be actually doing 22 damage. So the enemies are not aware of our presence just yet, but that's about to change. So Lunk will take a shot here. Let's see how he rolls. Great. So Lunk rolled a 64, so that will hit. So taking a look here, let's calculate some action points. So Lunk doesn't need to move to start combat. So Lunk does not need to worry about it costing 5 action points to move a square. And looking here at the primary weapon's action point cost per attack is going to be costing 8 action points per shot. So let's say to kick off combat here, Lunk wants to take 3 shots at enemy 2 and hopefully just wipe this raider here out of the equation for combat here. So Lunk's going to take his 3 shots. So each attack is going to cost 8 action points to attempt. So we know that Lunk hit the first shot. Let's roll for shot 2. All right, that's a 29, so that did not hit. And then that is my die landed crooked. It's a 71. Well, it would have hit regardless. Okay. Anyway, but nonetheless, Lunk hit 2 of his 3 shots there, and one of them is a crit, or not a crit, but a sneak attack, and the other would be a regular shot because now the enemies are aware of Lunk's presence after the first shot. So first shot hits and lands 22 damage, and then the other would be 18. So that would be dealing 40 damage, and definitely worth getting the jump on this target because that was enough to kill enemy 2 from the equation. So now we come over to the sheet. Lunk has fired 3 shots, so we take the primary ammo counter down from 20 to 17, and then we would subtract 24 from the action point bank here. So we would have 56 points remaining. So Lunk's going to do that and then see how the enemies react. So now enemy 3 did go next in initiative. So enemy 3 is going to be like, oh, what the hell? And he's going to want to run over here into some cover. So he's going to kind of crouch next to this bus and this concrete barrier here and take a couple shots at Lunk. So this raider, I have him with a pistol in this case, hence why I'm using this raider image here for this guy here. But he is going to be shooting with a pistol, and let's see. So I will then take the range calculation. He is 56 feet from Lunk, and then on my end here, you guys don't see, I'll be doing some math. He's going to take 3 shots at Lunk with his pistol, and that does one of them does hit Lunk here. So this pistol, the 10 millimeter, I don't have it here, but the 10 millimeter pistol does 12 damage per shot. However, looking at the character sheet, Lunk has a damage threshold of 7. So that number is subtracted from any incoming damage that comes in. And I will do all the math for you guys on that regard. My sheets pull your damage threshold and inform me of that value. So that gun normally does 12 damage, but thanks to Lunk's armor and his overall resiliency, Lunk only takes 5 damage from that pistol shot. So bringing the health down to 72. Enemy 1 is equipped with a melee weapon. So he is going to try and run around to the truck here and get closer, but still kind of be in cover. But ultimately, not enough time has passed. He doesn't have enough action points to quite make it around the truck. So, he's in this position coming at with melee. So now the round has ended in combat for the turn order. So at this point, I will dictate to the group that you may now replenish some action points. So you would use this value here. You get action points per turn. So now you would take this value here. This calculation, again, the table does all the math for you. But Lunk would regenerate 10 action points per turn. So looking here, Lunk would gain 10 back. So that action point value would go back up to 66. Great. So now we can take a look here. So now enemy 1 is much closer to Lunk. So now we can get another measurement here. Only 25 feet. Excellent. So with that, Lunk will definitely benefit from, making another attack here. So we are attacking enemy 1. And then we are 25 feet. I did say 25.5. Technically, I am gonna be a little bit of a stickler about rounding. Okay, so 26. Okay, there we go. So we will determine the range. You'll input that onto your sheet, and now Lunk only needs to roll a 5 to hit. So, looking there, that's effectively anything other than a nat 1 will hit. So I think in this case, because we're not getting sneak attack bonuses now, Lunk's going to want to fire 4 shots at enemy 1 here. So let's go ahead and give that a roll. Okay. 66. 28. Okay. And for the sake of example, I do want this one to crit. So we'll say that we rolled a 97 here. And lastly, 14. Okay. So looking here, so all of those did hit, and the third one did crit. So we only had to roll greater than a 5 to hit our target. And in this case, we'll use the sample of landing a crit. So having to roll a 95 or better, Lunk would then score a critical hit with the rifle here. And we would then use that 22 number for damage. So looking here, these enemies, so 3 shots of 18 damage and 1 doing 22. That is enough as well to kill enemy 1. So looking at the sheet once again, we'll subtract the ammo that we expended with our weapon there. And then we will also subtract our action points. So that costs 8 action points to fire a bullet. 8 times 4 is 32. So we would now be down to 34 action points. Then, on the Raider's turn here, he's feeling emboldened. He has a pistol. His range isn't great. He does want to kind of move towards Lunk a little bit more. So we'll say that he gets to about here. And then he's going to take some shots with this pistol. So let's take a look here. So he is 27 feet from Lunk in this case. And he's going to fire his pistol, we'll say 4 times. That pistol again does 12 damage each shot. And Lunk has 7 damage threshold. So let's take a look and I'll roll and see how many that enemy 3 hits. Okay, so enemy 3 does hit with 3 of his 4 shots, and then 12 minus 7 is 5. So in this case, Lunk would take 15 damage. So that would bring him down to 57 on the health points there. So this time here, let's see here. Okay, so my sheet is not reflecting the correct value here. But nonetheless, to use a stim pack would be the same as a reload as it is. So to use a stim pack would be 15 action points here. But let's say Lunk wants to before we get into the next turn, enemies and players will regain some action points. Once again, Lunk is receiving 10 per turn. So in this case, Lunk would go up to 44 action points. Great. And then, so now, beginning of the turn, let's say Lunk does want to, heal. He's a little wary about taking that damage. He doesn't know if there are other raiders around or anything of that nature. So let's say Lunk wants to give himself a quick jab with the stim pack here. And then, hope to kind of finish this enemy off as well. So let's have Lunk, again, this is the last enemy he knows about, so let's just go ahead and have Lunk kind of go all out on this enemy here. So first he's going to use his stim pack, so that'd be 15 action points. That would bring him down to 29. Then looking here, 29 would put him, so he gets 26 health points per stim pack use, but he only is missing 20 health, so he'll go back up to 77. Great. And then looking here, Lunk's weapon to fire with the primary would take 8 action points, but the secondary, the 9mm pistol, only takes 6. So with that, definitely worth taking a look at the pistols instead, because with this, now Lunk would be able to fire 4 pistol shots, whereas he'd only be able to fire 3 with his primary weapon, just because it costs a little bit more. But we'll take a look at damage here again. So now in the secondary table, where we have the secondary weapon equipped, we have a pistol. And once again, we have our perk that does additional damage to raiders here. So we know that we are attacking enemy 3. So we will correct that here. And then we know the range to be, it was 27? Yep, 27. Great. So you would put that on your sheet. We know 27. And now we would look at this stat down here. So we are rolling with a secondary weapon here. So we would need to look at these values to determine how accurate we are here. So again, just for the sake of example, let's assume that Lunk does roll greater than 26 on all 4 rolls. 26 or greater. You just have to roll that number or higher. So Lunk rolls and does succeed on all 4 hits. And Lunk's pistol is doing 13 damage. 13 times 4 is 52. And that is enough to take out enemy 3 as well. So in that case, that would have been an additional 24 action points that were expended. Lunk would be in combat here with 5 and then have 11 bullets in his magazine. So just a little thing that you guys can do. What's nice is this housekeeping of keeping track of your ammo and your action points can be done after your turn has taken place. So if in that case we had 29 action points and you knew you just used 24, you can say, okay, I hit 4 shots and dealt 13 damage each. You'd report that number to me. I'd say, okay, great, and keep track of that. And then you guys can come in here afterwards and, do all of your math and housekeeping. We did use a stim pack in combat as well, so we'd want to note that we did use a consumable there. Great. So in that case, we have gone ahead and successfully passed the combat encounter here. And again, we just witnessed that was 3 turns of combat with me explaining the rule flow and doing a little preamble first. And I looked over at my recording software and we are only 21 minutes in to this example here. So again, I think that goes to show, the effort I've put into streamlining this process and making this move quickly. Of course, our first few combat encounters will be a little lethargic as we all kind of learn the system and get a rhythm for it. But as time goes on, it will become much, much, much easier to track. But there you have it. So Lunk has saved this hostage and will now go get his reward or thanks or useful information or who knows what in this very vast and dangerous wasteland. Then the next episode here, I will be going over shotguns and snipers as an example, and then we will take a look at melee and explosives. Thanks so much, guys.